Hey, everybody. It's LaTara Venise, soul care provider and the founder of Color Your Soul, where we help you to have necessary conversations around the stories of your life for mental and emotional balance. Man, I cannot wait for 2020 for this shorter version of all of that. But I gotta wait. I gotta wait to announce all of that. So, Ashley, thanks so much for joining us for the CYS interview series. Thank you. We have the awesome Ashley Sauls with us, and we're going to get started. These interviews are to help people understand more about what the Color Your Soul process does, how it works, how it's helping people. Because I'm not really a bragger and I don't really do a lot of digital proof. I just show up, and whatever shows up with it is awesome for me. So, but one of the things that I know that I need to do is really let people see what's happening with the brand and how it's helping people. So Ashley, tell us a little bit about what you do. And I know that as far as in like your entrepreneurial ministry type thing, God is really shifting you. So talk a little bit about that as well.
I knew you were going to go there. Well, I am Ashley Sauls. I identify as a creative person, which means that I embrace that God allows me to be creative in the way that I approach healing and serving other people. It involves the arts and just flowing in the rhythms of His grace is what I got.
That's it. That's good, right? Because if you're flowing the rhythm of His grace, then you know what? You right where you need to be. And it's funny how He's directing and opening you up to new things. And you're actually going to be doing the very first creative healing workshop for Color Your Soul. I'm super excited about that as we're helping people get ready for 2020 in the right way. The first one was the Boundaries Matters. And so it's a lot happening with what we're doing with these intensives and workshops. And y'all don't want to miss it. That's all I got to say. Y'all don't want to miss them, right? So Ashley, the interesting thing about you is that you are one of my like, I don't need all that, right? I don't
Sure.
need all of that. What do you think made you say, I don't need what she's offering? I get it. I like LaTara. That's my girl and everything, but she be talking and I can't do all of that.
Well, I think it boils down to that self-sufficient attitude, which a lot of us have. We feel like if I don't have it together in myself, I don't need to reach out, which is not really how God is. But a lot of us close ourselves off to community because we want to be this self-reliant person. And so that's where I was. I'm like, nope, I'm good. If Jesus don't talk to me, I need nobody else to talk to me. And so that also was a block for me as well. So that's where I started from.
Yeah. And so I know that you slowly but surely began to kind of pick the message up, and one of the ways that you did it, I really love the fact that you just started being honest about where you were, and what was happening. You started being vulnerable. What was that like for you?
It felt like a Band-Aid being slowly ripped off and exposed, but that's where healing happens. As long as you're not being truthful, transparent, or real, you can't help anybody. And I think that's what I know that's what I was trying to do. I was trying to help people from a place of hurt and not a place from healed. And so it wasn't until Color Your Soul brought me to that place of, if you're going to show up, be honest to get the most value out of the process. And so that was where the shift happened.
Yeah. So tell me, there was something you said that I wanted to kind of pull on a little bit. Okay. So trying to heal from a place of hurt. What was that? What's that like?
It doesn't work. It's very dysfunctional. One, because the people who you're trying to help, they don't feel that connection because you're not being a real your own process. So it's kind of like me, trying to doctor up your broken ankle, but yet I'm limping around. Like, well, how can you help me because you're limping? And so until we get really real about our process and we go through the process, then we're being fake and we're not going to be able to help anybody because they're not seeing our story lived out.
Yeah. And you were really good with flowing with me through 2017 when all I was doing was delivering the message every day. I didn't know what I was doing. I just was like, okay, God, this is what you're telling me to do. And I think it was in those months of my own vulnerability and openness to help so many other women. So how did those moments, those conversations that I just would get on Facebook and just start talking, right? How did those help you to begin to see, hey, I got some stuff I got to deal with?
Well, that definitely helped because you were showing up as real and authentic. And so for me, when I see that example, it helps me not to feel so alone. And I think when I was trying to do things by myself, I was seeing people talk about be healed, but I wasn't seeing them walk it out. But the difference with Color Your Soul was I was seeing the process, the good, the bad, the questions, the lack of answers, and you just consistently showed up. And that meant a lot to me, and it encouraged me to take part and to really dig deeper.
Okay, good. That's good to know. So you signed up almost like right away for the very first Soul Detox, right? I mean, you were like, I was like, oh, and it's funny because the first Soul Detox, I think there were like 11 or 12 people, and I didn't expect that, and so it told me that I was on to something, right? It told me I was being obedient, and the Soul Detox actually came to me for the first time in I think 2013. But I wasn't ready. Like you, I was in a place of needing to be healed. And so what God was telling me is it was my own thing I had to learn how to flow through, and then I could help others to do it. So tell me how your first experience was with that Soul Detox.
I shut down after day 5, because I really thought it was, and I'm a step-by-step person. So I felt like if I do this step, it's going to be easy because I'm doing the work of the process, but it's not one of those things you're just going to check off and you're done. Healing is a continual process. So I confronted the mess, and then more of the mess came up. And by the time day 5 came up, additional mess came up. And at the time I was like, that's too much. Going through it other times, it was really understanding, accepting the process and where I was in the process, not trying to fake like, oh, I've arrived, I'm healed. But okay, if I'm still working on this issue, I'm still working on this issue. Keep working at it until you receive that healing or that release. But don't skip over it, don't stuff it.
Yeah, a lot of people who join Soul Detox think they can pick up a step, but you can't pick up a step. It's a process. When something is a process, you can't pick, like this pen, it's a process. And in order for the ink to stay wet, you have to keep the top on it. You can't skip the step and then not, to just put the pen to the side, because you're going to try and get it right. Then you're going to go get the match and try to light it and get it to, or you might open it up and do this to the thing or whatever. Just follow the process so that you don't have to beat yourself upside the head having to go back and repeat those steps again, right? And I mean, I did that like, oh, I'm straight, I don't have to go on, and it wasn't with Soul Detox, but learning how my own Soul Detox. I did that kind of, I'm gonna cut my hair off as a sign of freedom, and I don't need him no more, and then I'm done. And it was still, cutting my hair wasn't nothing about the work. That was just a sign of the freedom, right? Of leaving abuse. I still had to go through the layers of the pain and deal with that so that I wasn't so mean. It's like people was like, do you want to get married again one day? I don't know, because I was so hard. This instant wall came up. And so it's a lot of work I had to do. And I love when in the Soul Detox, people go, I feel like I'm losing control. And I say, good, that's right where you're supposed to be, right? So how did that point feel for you? Because you said, I'm not going to do that step. But eventually you did, and you began to lose control. What was that like for you?
It was scary because I controlled a lot of things, or tried to control a lot of things. So come to the reality that I wasn't God, and I could not, my life is really not my own when you surrender. But that's how you're supposed to be, like you said. But it was still scary because I was still trying to hold on to old Ashley instead of embracing the Ashley that God was creating me to be and already had me designed to be, but I was hiding behind all the mess.
Yeah, I love that. And you, like other people who've taken the Soul Detox, and what happens is God begins to open you up to purpose and to vision and to dreams. And it doesn't look like, you're like, wait a minute, that don't look like what I thought it looked like, right? Because the reason why so many people need a Soul Detox is because they're living in a place that they really don't belong in. Or they're wearing these masks and they have these facades on, and we know you had that perfect mask. We know Ashley had the perfect prim and proper. I miss Ashley, right? But now she's just straight, look, if I gotta be sneaky thug, I'll be sneaky thug, fam. That's how that go. That's how it is. She's being who she really is behind closed doors, right? I'm quite sure your husband has seen it and probably some close friends or whatever. But to the rest of the world, you were just Ashley Sauls, prim and proper. I'm here. Whatever you need me to do, I'm here for that. Okay. And now you're like, no, I can't do that. Nope,
Right.
I'm not going here. Nope, I'm free. Tell me what your freedom looks like.
Being me,
Mm-hmm.
simply. So
Mm-hmm.
being okay with how I am and not trying to change myself for
Mm-hmm.
other people's enjoyment. I
Mm-hmm.
felt like in the lack of freedom phase, I was like a chameleon. So if you needed me to be this way, I would blend into the environment, whether I agreed with it or not.
Yeah.
But being free means, look, you're talking too long. I'm at
Mm-hmm.
this event. I'm going to go get some barbecue. This doesn't agree. This doesn't agree with who I am as a person. I don't need to
Mm-hmm.
go. I don't
Mm-hmm.
have to show up to things just because it's acceptable to everyone else. What's
Mm-hmm.
purpose? What is God purposing me to do or not to do? So that has helped me not to feel guilty by taking time away,
Yeah.
enjoying my family, not spending time behind ministry activities,
Mm-hmm.
hiding and doing to
Mm-hmm.
have this image of perfection that God didn't even sign me up for.
I love that he didn't even sign you up for. I love that he ain't signed nobody up for that, but they keep thinking that he did. Right. So that this was so good, and I know that there were times that you shifted over into like, okay, a part of what God has me doing is I have to do the certification program, because a part of what he opened you up to is that you're a healer. You are a healer, and you wanted to do ministry, women's ministry. You wanted to do the Ashley Sauls, and let's do the sisterly talks, and God halted all of that for you, right? It was just like,
It
what you doing, Ashley? Why you doing this? And I know it was a struggle for you. It was a struggle for you to even shift over. And then when you did the certification, it opened up even more healing, and then became a different struggle, because one day we were on a call, our little monthly call, and I was like, okay, so Ashley, what you got? Nothing. I don't even know what God doing with me. Right. And I was like, oh boy, so and there was this shift, and then it was funny because God began to kind of kick the prophetic in for me, and I began to kind of just talk to you about some things he was sharing with me, and you had already been told this by when Shay was your mentor. You had already been told this, and you ran from it, and that was you joined the first cycle, didn't you, with me,
yeah.
2015? That was in 20.
Yeah.
Yeah,
2015 group.
2015,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
Shay told you back then that you were a creative, and you were like, no, I'm finance. I'm going to do this math. I'm going to do this prim proper. I help people. I do these records. That's what I do. I do medical records, and I help people do this. That's what I do. And so everything must flow. And it was totally different, wasn't it?
It sure
Yeah.
it sure is. I'm not sure
Mhm.
was. It sure is.
Yeah. 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 And so as we wrap this up, I want you to encourage other people, because Color Your Soul is not just for women. I want you to encourage other people who know they're on the cusp of healing, but they keep running from it, right? Talk to them.
Okay, good deal. I would say to that person that the longer that you run away from your healing is the longer that you're running away from the purpose that God wants you to execute. So you can do retreats and have women's conferences and events and all this kind of stuff, but it will never be to the degree that it will help anybody else because you're hiding behind masks. And so you have to be comfortable, because our healing is not just for us, it's also to help other people. And so the sooner you get that lesson, the more effective you can be for the kingdom.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And I hear those beautiful dogs. I know doggy sounds anywhere, so, and I love dogs. So I want to thank you so much for joining me, and I know, and a lot of people don't know either, that you're a part of the team now. You're part of the Color Your Soul team. You are our creative director, and you flow not just with the creative, but God is moving you in the prophetic of the vision. And so it's been phenomenal because you've helped me to shift so much. Because I get those messages like, I just prayed about that. Dang, here she come with the Okay, God, you know, and around that third time, he was like, do you understand now? You know who she is? That's why I said she was a creative director, because you are helping to take the vision and mold it where I'm like going, I don't even know what to do, Ashley. I'm just stuck. I don't know what to do, or I'm crying. It's just these people, you know, right? So I appreciate you for stepping into that role. And I'll probably have to have you on here again to talk about what the role has done once it begins to open up, because it's really new for both of us as God begins to kind of talk about this. What does it look like to be a creative director who isn't a traditional creative director? Because we still trying to figure it out too, right? So.
Right.
So Ashley, tell us really quickly how we can find you online.
Easiest way, look up Ashley Costi Sauls on Facebook, or just look up Ashley Sauls. That's the easiest way.
The easiest way. All right. Because she's still finding herself. So she can't tell you about a Facebook page. She can't tell you about no Instagram, all that. She's still walking this thing out too, as she opens up her healing, as she opens up to her own soul coloring, and what it is, and as she receives what God has for her. And that's not always easy, but it's very necessary. So thank you for coming, Ashley. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Keep watching this YouTube channel. Catch the devotions. Catch the interviews. We'll have more and more interviews and tons of devotions. I'm going to bring in a couple of panels too. I'm going to have a couple of panels. We're going to be talking about some different things and just having some roundtable talk. I'm really excited about that. So really, Color Your Soul Conversations is coming too. A Zoom room near you. God is good. So thank y'all so much for joining me. I appreciate you. I am LaTara, Venise, soul care provider and the founder of Color Your Soul, helping you to have necessary conversations.